Hey guys, I'm recording this on just my little pocket camera, so I hope the audio is okay. But today is technically day one of production on the new video, which is why I am outside doing nearly nothing. So basically the way this works is I just got through upload weekend. And what that involves is kind of finishing off the video Saturday morning for like any just little finishing touches or anything like that. Uploading the video by 2 o'clock, and that's usually like a pretty intense process. Like I'm usually kind of just completely dead by Saturday by the time it does go up, because I've probably been up Friday night, like, you know, probably early morning kind of stuff. And then Sunday is like I basically I wake up and kind of I'm pretty anxious to see like how the video's doing, like if everything kind of went all right. And it usually does. Usually it's a pretty positive response. But it still leaves you kind of very like tired, and you never really feel like you have any kind of breathing room from it. Like an upload weekend never really feels like time off or anything. It's kind of just an extension of work. And so usually after an upload, I'll take the Monday off, and today's like a day where I do pretty much nothing. I kind of just chill. I might watch some movies, play some games. I might try and catch up with some people. And I used to be really against taking time off like this, because I figured like, well, I could be working, I could be advancing. But what kind of like time has taught me again and again, and it's a lesson that took me way too long to get learned, was that like if you have something you care about, and if it's something you want to put a lot of your passion into and a lot of your energy into, taking time off is critical to let yourself recoup enough so that you're at 100% and really kind of going for it, or like had the energy to go for it, you know. And I don't know, it took me maybe 4 years to really take that lesson in. And so like I'm not actually doing any work today, this to me is just as important a part of the process as anything else. I'm actually just out for a cycle right now. You see my bike there. It's too bright. Let me just, there we go. This beer can here is not mine, because that's not. I don't drink in public by myself, or at least not often. But yeah, so this is pretty much my way of just kind of clearing my head and just kind of like letting the old video go in a way. Because like when you're doing a video, it becomes your life for however long you're working on it. And this is kind of my way of just giving myself like a bit of breathing room between videos. Because the next video I'm working on now, and you've probably all seen it by now, which is like fucking terrifying to me, because like I haven't even really started to think of what it is yet. But the next video is a video about psychics, and this is something I've wanted to do for a while. I kind of came up with the idea alongside the fake martial arts video last year. Right now, like all it is a thought in my head. I haven't typed a single word about it. I haven't done a tap of research. I haven't done anything. So I don't know, I don't know what that video is gonna be. You know much better than me at this point. But I kind of want to approach the subject a little bit like, I want to actually like see like, okay, what is like the most legitimate proof of psychics I could find? My feeling right now is it's not going to be very compelling, but I'm kind of curious. But I also think like there's a lot of interesting things about psychics in terms of like what people believe and how they convince themselves to believe it. And I think like, you know, there's a lot of stuff in the news, especially like, you know, American news, but even Irish news as well, where it's like I feel like people are believing crazier and crazier shit. And so I'm kind of like, I'm wondering, can I link those two ideas, like the idea of psychics and the idea that people seem to be kind of more vulnerable to conspiracy and stuff now? Like, is there a connection there? And maybe that won't work out. And you know, maybe during the process of making this, I might end up doing a completely different video. And it's happened maybe once where I've kind of like done a video and then like a couple of days in just backtracked and done something else. And I'll usually do the original video eventually, but yeah, sometimes that kind of happens. But yeah, I don't know what it's gonna be. Today I'm gonna play some Valheim because I think that seems kind of cool. I watched Only Yesterday this morning, which is like one of the 3 Ghibli movies I haven't watched. And yeah, I'm pretty much just gonna chill. I might take a bath. I like to take a bath to kind of clear my head. But yeah, that's kind of what today is all about. And tomorrow the actual research starts, but like it's not even going to be, it is going to be research, but it's also going to be like just trying to get a really broad idea of what this video is going to be. So we'll see then. Okay, I'm gonna film another one of these tomorrow, but I'm not gonna do this every day because like that would be a little redundant, but I'm gonna be doing it at the key points during the video making process. So yeah, see you guys tomorrow. Okay, so we're at the end of day 2 of production. We got a bunch of stuff here. So first thing I did this morning was I basically wrote like kind of a little memorandum for what the video is meant to be. This is kind of like there's loads of like bad spelling in this and I don't care because only I'm ever meant to see it. Don't tell anyone. But basically I write just like a plan for the video. This is kind of like, I imagine if like I was getting like a client, if like a client was sending me a brief, this would be that brief. And so from here, then I kind of have I have a couple of steps: project name, purpose, principles, vision, outcome, brainstorm, and organizing. So the brainstorm happens here in my notebook. And this is where I kind of just write out a bunch of just real random ideas of like what I think psychics are, what their kind of deal is, and like I have the handwriting of a fucking insane child, so I know that. And from there, when I kind of think of like all the kind of broad ideas like government research, mind control, the internet, debunking, all this kind of stuff, I'm like, okay, what are the areas that I really, really want to concentrate on? And those are the ones I've underlined with kind of silver pen. So I wanted to look into government research, proof of psychics, history of psychics, and celebrity psychics. And so what this meant was then I go and let me pull up this real quick. I create an articles doc. And what this is basically a bunch of different articles. So the ones at the top here, we have history of psychics, we have government research, we have proof of psychics, and celebrity psychics, and debunking of psychics. So the next couple of days for me is going to be me going through all these different articles, everything we have here, and basically trying to find like little nuggets of information that feel relevant to the kind of video I'm trying to make. And then when we do that, we'll take notes on them. So I have some already done here for some stuff. I found some stuff on The Amazing Randi, who I was kind of already aware of, but this is basically a guy who debunks psychics, and I found out he had a 1990 BBC show, so I spent an hour and a half watching that today, and that was really cool. I'm going to watch the second half of that tomorrow. I bought this book, John Ronson, The Man Who Stares at Goats, and this is basically about the American military's history in paranormal research, which is just as fucking weird as it sounds. I'm about halfway into this, and it's been interesting. I don't know that there's anything yet that I would put in the video, but you know, a lot of research is kind of going down dead ends that don't work out, and it's still been a really interesting read. I have like my notes from that here, and yeah, that's gonna be it. It's basically I'm gonna get up early. I'll probably get up around 7 tomorrow, start work at 8. I'll probably spend the day just going through all these different articles. My office looks a little weird right now because see, I have 2 mouse mats and 2 keyboards. And that's because I'm actually in the process of setting up a new computer. I bought this thing, and this is pretty much thanks to you guys. I bought this new machine because basically my old machine has been really starting to struggle with some of the fancier stuff. Like, I don't know if you guys noticed, but a lot of my editing, especially like on the Undertale video, is getting like very elaborate, and I like that a lot. I like being able to like just make these massive fucking image collages where videos are like melding in and out of each other. I think that's the coolest shit. And I really wanted to get a new PC to be able to handle that stuff better, because if I can, basically like the machine I have at the moment chugs with editing a lot, and that's a problem because if
it only, even if it takes like a couple of seconds to preview a clip in Premiere, you are doing that hundreds of times throughout the day over the course of a day. And so if I can get a PC like this one, which hopefully should be able to just chew through footage, everything's kind of, the office is kind of a mess at the moment, it's not usually this messy, I'm kind of cleaning it up too. This will save me a lot of time, and that means I'll be able to get more rest. It means that I'll be able to do more work on videos, and it'll just improve everything. Making video making enjoyable is really important to be able to work at your best, I think, because you can't be constantly expending energy on all these tiny problems, and so I'm hoping that this machine can do that. I ordered it without a PCI card because I'm a dumbass, and I had to install that, and basically, yeah, there's a lot of stuff I have to install, and that's kind of, that's a problem if you're working, because getting the PC up and running, putting all the old programs, and I use about two dozen programs to make videos, getting them all back on the new software it's literally more important than making the video, because this is the shit that makes it run, and this all takes up time, this all takes up hours. So yeah, that's kind of what my day was today. Basically started work at 8 a.m. Worked, did my plan, then I literally just spent hours finding all these different articles, haven't even read any. Then after that, I read a bunch of The Men Who Stares at Goats, made my notes on that, and then I had an interview at 3 I wanted to do. There's still so much I wish I could do today. I need to get back to people on my Discord. I know Punk Duck and H Bomber Guy both want me to take a look at their new drafts of their videos. And yeah, it's always, you can never get enough done. There's always more shit to do by the end of the day, but at some point you kind of just gotta clock out, and it's getting close to 7 p.m. now, and I want to make dinner because I'm hungry, and I think then I want to get some rest and just chill. So yeah, this is day 2. I will update you guys again soon. Okay, so I think this is day, I want to say 10. And basically, if you saw all the articles I was going to go through in the last video here, I have basically read all these, kind of highlighting some of the more interesting ones, some of the kind of more important ones. This was just reading all these was several days work. And from there, I basically went and I took notes. This is kind of like a little brain map I did. I can't remember what they're actually called, but sometimes this is just good to be like, okay, what do I actually know about this stuff? And it was from actually doing this I realized how little I knew about psychics and how much I actually had to cover. And so from here, from kind of going through a lot of the notes, I kind of just made page after page after page after page, just notes and notes and notes, and this is all kinds of stuff. In this page, I was trying to figure out how this psychic trick worked, that lets psychics pick a number from 1 to 100, and it turns out it's just a really simple kind of math thing. I found some pages on it that kind of explain the probability of it, which is kind of interesting. I'd like a more detailed breakdown of the probability, because it does seem to work. It's just there's basically, it eliminates a bunch of factors from numbers 1 to 100, and then gives that, so you only end up with 19 numbers, and for whatever reason people either pick 37 or 35 out of those numbers. It's just some weird internal bias we have. I found the psychic Sylvia Browne, who I think is a fucking awful person. Tyler Henry, who is a modern psychic, who I think is kind of equally awful, and maybe not as equally awful, but I think when you look at this shit as a whole, he's a problem. There's John Edwards, who I only looked up a very little amount, but his shit was that's the kind of thing with this video. Whenever I look up something about someone, it's immediately you start to see patterns in how they all behave, because they're all using the same tricks and all using the same shit, and this stuff is years old, like decades old, but they're still getting away with it. And that's something I've kind of found a little bit upsetting about doing this video, And here's another one I did after I started getting more familiar, more notes. This is actually the structure of the video, and I did this structure out basically kind of just all in bullet points, all the stuff I want to do. Apologies about my handwriting. I know I have the handwriting of a deranged 4-year-old. But this structure, I actually realized I didn't really know I still didn't really know and I needed to gather more information. So I went and I got more information and I looked up a lot more about modern psychics and Uri Geller and a lot of different stuff. And like it just took me down loads of different rabbit holes, all this kind of stuff. And that eventually led me to basically coming up with like a proper structure, which I now have. And so all that work, I would say, was about a week's worth of like note-taking, research, all that kind of stuff. And it's not done yet, but where that led me eventually was to this morning. And here you'll see I sat down and I wrote, this is what I wrote this morning. Basically 6 pages of basically everything I found, like basically I call this my dummy script, okay? And so what this is for, this is absolutely not going to be the final script. But the reason I do it is because I think it's really important when writing to get it wrong as fast as you can. Like this script is garbage. Like it's just there. It's like a scaffolding. It's like I'm going to build the actual script on top of this, but unless I do a script like this first, I feel like what I often used to do was be really careful writing the first draft of my script, and then like I'd spend like a week just like carefully constructing this first draft, and then I'd go back and read it and it'd be terrible, you know? And so what I wanted to do here is just get all my thoughts down and everything I could talk about. And actually, do you know, I called it garbage, but honestly, like this first draft wasn't bad. I thought it actually went pretty well. Now that said, I'm still going to rewrite, I would guess 100% of this script. A couple of lines might make it into the final one, but like especially towards the end here. And again, this is like how many paid word count. So you can see there I wrote 4,000 words today. So by the end of it, it starts getting pretty nonsensical, and yeah. But it's been fascinating stuff to research. It really has. Like I've read so much stuff about Project Stargate and all this kind of stuff. And what's really struck me, I think what I'm kind of surprised about is how like weird and predatory a lot of it is. Like I've just encountered some really, really dark shit, like especially around Sylvia Browne and like the shit she put people through, and it's been weirdly emotional, you know, because like I feel like I've kind of stumbled into just looking at this real fucking dark hole of humanity, and it sucks watching people getting taken advantage of. It sucks reading stories about, you know, families grieving for their kids and fucking these just clowns trying to say that they can, you know, help them find these lost kids, and they're wrong and they're always wrong, and they give families false hope, and it's disgusting. Really is. My afternoon this evening is actually going to be going through these psychic cringe compilations and basically like finding as much weird shit as I can. Oh man, there's is that girl. She used to be on British TV. I think her name's Lucy. I used to kind of have a crush on her. She's very pretty. But yeah, I'm going to be like going on and like watching basically just to get footage, because I need footage to actually overlay onto my commentary, and considering I'm not talking about a show or anything. And some of these are just the wildest shit. Let me see, is there any here? I kept a log of them. I found some footage of a guy vomiting up gemstones and claiming it was like an interdimensional power, which, okay. But it's been interesting. And then the other side of it is like I'm starting to put together like the playlist for this as well. And this is actually a playlist I already had called Low Key. And I found that a lot of this stuff is kind of the music that I'd like to use in the video. And the reason it starts to feel right is like I start to listen to this while I'm writing my scripts, and the stuff that gets me the most in the mood for like writing is probably what's going to end up being like, you can hear that. It's like really ambient, kind of surreal stuff, and that's the feeling I think I want this video to have. I want it to have like real kind of a relaxed ambience, but then I also want to spike it with some more kind of like witch housey kind of stuff. Like let me see here. I actually think, yeah, I have a playlist. So this kind of shit. This is a song called Glimmermouth Flesh, and this would be a great song to use when I'm really getting into like the actual danger of psychics, because like one thing I've just learned is, and I never had a lot of faith in this stuff, but it's so fucking dangerous, and it's just ruined people's lives, and it's sad and kind of painful, and I think music like this reflects that, so I think it'd be a really good option to use like when I'm actually doing it. So that's about where I am. I would say like the research for this one was quite difficult, and to be honest with you, there's still a lot of research to go, but it's also been really, really rewarding. Like I'm having such a good time doing this video, and like I'm happy with where it's at the moment, because a lot of the time with the dummy script I'm just like, oh, this is fucking terrible, just start it again. But I don't think I'm gonna start again. I'll probably just work off it. So yeah, that's where I'm at. It's going well. I'm excited. Hopefully this is something that turns out good. But yeah, see you next time. Oh, okay. So this is actually the same day that I was doing before, and it's been a long day. Basically, the biggest thing I kind of came across today is I started looking more into like a lot of psychic healing cases, and what I came across was a lot of kids who've died because their parents wouldn't let them get proper medical attention. This is just an afternoon's worth of Googling all these kids, you know, and it's, you know, it's gotten just weird and dark in a way that I just never imagined it would. Like, I think I kind of went into this video thinking that it would kind of be a fun, silly video in a lot of ways. I didn't think it would even be as serious as the fake martial arts one, but it's way more serious, and now I'm left with the problem of like, is this still a road I want to go down? Is this like, this is a lot to talk about, you know, this is some really, really dark shit, and it stirs some dark stuff in people, but I kind of feel like this is my job, like this is what I wanted to do, and I know I'm going to, but it's just, fuck man, like I didn't know we'd end up here, and it's hard, you know, it's a lot. I think I need a drink, like yeah, people can be so fucking dark, you know, like there's just real evil in them sometimes, and I keep thinking of this James Randi quote, and it's an adage he quotes in his book, and it just says that when reason sleeps, monsters come forth. You know, that really became apparent today. Okay, I don't know. This is the most current draft. This script has gone through 3 drafts and has gone from, I think, was it 5 pages to 4 pages to 9 pages. It has turned into an absolute beast, and I kind of thought that would happen. So, okay, when I talk about drafts, I kind of have like a system for how to write a script, in that the first draft, when you write the first draft, you're not thinking about anything in particular except the flow of the video. You're trying to tell a story with the entire video, with the entire script. You're not focusing on any one part of it. It's about the overall thing. That takes a day. The second draft is then you're concentrating on the paragraphs. You're making sure that the paragraphs all flow together and that they're all working within each other. That's the most intensive part of the process, because that's where you're going to be doing like a lot of fact checking. You're going to be figuring out what story you want to tell paragraph to paragraph. And that's really where a lot of the rewriting happens. That takes a week.
and it's intensive. Then yesterday I did the third draft, and the third draft only takes a day. And what you're doing in the third draft is you're looking at those paragraphs specifically, and you're specifically looking at the sentences within those paragraphs. You're making sure that the paragraphs themselves are telling individual stories and creating narratives that lead the viewer through the video. And then today is the fourth draft, and what I do with the fourth draft is I read through the entire script and I read it all out loud, and I make sure it all sounds like something that humans would say. I'm then going to record my audio, and I will be exhausted by the end of the day, but hopefully I feel okay about it. I'm also going to cut the audio today. So yeah, today's actually probably going to be a bit of a late one, but that just happens sometimes. It's weird, like, this has been a really intensive video, and like I think part of the problem for me is just there's kind of been some other stuff going on. Like, here's the kind of thing. Okay, remember my new PC I told you about? Well, here that is. On my bed, not plugged in, not being used. Ignore how messy all this is. Sometimes my office gets messy when I have a lot of. I also got a PS5. That was fun. This fucking thing, Dell basically sold me a really good PC with a lot of shitty component parts, and I do not know enough about PC building to know that was happening. So things like, I would have assumed that SSDs come as standard now. It turns out they don't. So this thing has a fucking hard drive in it, which means it's slow as shit. And being on the phone to Dell, like trying to fix this thing, ordering new parts for it, all that stuff like sucked up a lot of time and a lot of energy, and it's just been really, really frustrating. And it's like, it's stuff like this that always gets in the way of video making that I think people never think about, because you never think about how like little stupid stuff like that can actually cost you like a couple of hours a day, and then all of a sudden you're behind. And yeah, but yeah, so overall I'm still really enjoying working on the video. It is intense, and there's parts of it that are just so grim. Like I didn't think I would be writing a paragraph about like dead kids for this video, but unfortunately I think the story calls for it, and I wouldn't be accurately representing this stuff if I didn't. So yeah, I don't know when I'll record another one again, but yeah, look, you guys are just gonna see it right now because we're just gonna cut to it.
In 1806, the small town of Leeds in the United Kingdom was thrown into an apocalyptic frenzy when a chicken began to lay eggs inscribed with the words, "Christ is coming." Crowds would travel great distances to stare in awe and terror as the chicken laid these prophetic words. Some saw it as a sign of salvation, others as the beginning of the end times. But the truth was a little less biblical, as it was discovered that the chicken's owner, Mary Bateman, also known as the Yorkshire Witch, was painting the eggs herself and inserting them into the chicken. Was painting the eggs herself and inserting them into the chicken. Was painting the eggs herself and inserting them into the chicken. Inserting them into the chicken. And reinserting them into the chicken. Was painting the eggs herself and reinserting them into the chicken.
Okay, so this is day whatever, oh no. So I'm just finishing up the first day of editing. Right now it's 10 to 10. I started work today, I think at about maybe 7:45, so what's that, like 13, 14 hours ago? I don't fucking know. Unfortunately, this video has turned out to be very, very long. If we zoom out on the timeline there, this is how much I have done, and this is how much I have left to go. Right now the video is clocking in at about 39 minutes, and it's going to be longer than that, so there's a chance it could break 40, which, oh Jesus, that is... this is going to be a rough one. Sometimes you kind of just misjudge videos, but I want to put it out next weekend. Like, I feel good about putting it out next weekend, but yeah, this is going to be a tough one. I'm going to be taking tomorrow off, and then I'll be back to work Sunday, and I'll probably be... Next week's probably going to be a bit of a ride, but yeah, it just happens sometimes. Anyway, guys, see you next time.
Okay, so it's first thing in the morning, it's like 8 a.m., and I'm now going to watch back the first draft of the new video. I'm tired and I'm sleepy, but I find this is the best time to do it. This is always terrifying. Like, this is always a legitimately horrifying piece of the experience, because I've been working on this video for 3.5 weeks now. You know, it's at the point where, like, this video is my whole fucking life. Like, it is just everything that is in my mind all the time. And now I get to watch it back, and the first thing my mind is going to pick up on is everything that's wrong with it. And that's hard. It's always so demoralizing. And, like, this is always like a crisis of faith moment where I'm like, should I have made this video? Should I have done this? Like, was this even a good idea? And, like, with this video, it's more like journalistic than anything I've done before. That's scary. It's more serious than anything I've done before. That's scary. I'm, actually coming after people in this video, like people who are active right now, and that's frightening as well. And, like, all those things I have to be, like, really careful of. And so I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I am going to record another entry in 45 minutes right after I watch it. Oh god, my hair is so fucked. Oh well, don't tell anyone. This is just for patrons, so don't goddamn tell anyone what I look like. Okay, so I'm gonna go watch it. Wish me luck.
For real or KHT.
Okay,
Real.
we're done.
Video game podcast.
Let me pause there. Okay, so that was actually all right. I'm kind of shocked. Like, it's kind of a fucking mess. Like, the pacing's not right, and a bunch of parts need, like, rewrites and need, like, new info and stuff like that. But in general, I'm actually happy enough with it. Like, there's some green screen. Let me show you this shit real quick. There's some, like, green screen bits in it that, like, I haven't added the green screen bit in it yet, so they just look really silly. They're gonna look really silly anyway because it's me on camera and I'm weird and awkward. But yeah, where is it? No, that's not it. This shit.
You and Alyssa are doing well, and that your little cat is living life.
Like, that's what the video looks like at the moment, and so I do need to fix up a bunch of stuff like that. But I gotta say, like, in general, I think it's an interesting video. It kind of loses it towards the end for sure. Like, I'm gonna really have to work hard to make that, like, final bit work. But I'm pretty happy, which I'm kind of disappointed about, because I figured when I was doing this, if I had my usual fucking just crisis and being like, this shit is garbage and I'm terrible at making videos, I thought that'd make, like, a better narrative for when I do eventually turn the video around at, like, the last minute. But none of that to say it isn't a lot of work. Right now, this is the Wednesday, and I'm hoping to post it on the Saturday, and I know, like, between now and then, this is my crunch time. Like, this is going to be insane anyway, because it's a 45-minute video, and literally every 10 seconds of that video is going to need some kind of adjustment. Every single one of them. So I have a massive amount of work ahead of me, but I guess, I'm kind of excited about it. Like, this is a very different video. I think it's kind of a step up from stuff I've done before, and I really hope you guys agree and that you think it's good. If not, we can always go back, but yeah, anyway, look, I got a ton of work to do, so I'm gonna get to it. See you soon.
Okay, so these are all my notes for the video, and basically the way I do it is I do the, so here's the intro, and here's how big a problem it is. I rate these by three standards. Basically, you have S, which is like small, really easily solved, like couple of just a couple of minutes really. M, which is like maybe 30 to 30 minutes to an hour. Then you have L, which is going to be like a multi-hour fix. And so I've rated the entire intro an S section because nearly all the problems are like pretty easily solved. It's mostly just like timing and stuff like that. Then you can see that like basically I've broken up each section into like the parts that need fixed. So a section like astrology is an M because there's a few rewrites, there's a few editing problems, and like I'm gonna have to do some better animations and graphics for it. Sections like the David Tomorrow section, which isn't even like edited properly, is like nearly all L's, so that's going to be a couple of hours easily. And like then there's the David Tomorrow section 2 and kind of the Nostradamus section, and it's all varying like degrees of difficulty with which this stuff is kind of going to go on with. Then I have broken all this down into a ranking for which are my priorities, and these top 5, these are all L's except intro. And this is going to be my day-to-day. If I can get those done, I'll be pretty happy. And then I just have like a little general thoughts. Generally, I think like the videos, it's better than expected. Honestly, like I'm shocked, but there's still like a lot of work to do at the same time. So I talk about like how you guys make these kind of videos possible. I'll have like a little example of that here. This is going to be the cost of stock footage I have to pay for this video, and you don't always need to use stock footage if you're a smaller creator, but if you're my size, you need to be very careful about sourcing where the footage comes from, and this is something I've absolutely fucked up on in the past. I've never gotten in trouble for it, but I'm sure I would if I kept doing it, and so you have to be careful to pay for all the footage you're using, or at least credit people accordingly if payment isn't an option. And so it's going to cost me nearly 300 fucking euro, which is a lot of money, but luckily enough my Patreon is strong and I can do stuff like this, which helps me really improve the quality of the videos, and also just not worry about like where my footage is coming from and if the people I'm downloading it from has like the rights to it, and basically just opening me up to a whole lot of shit. So thanks guys, I got a lot of work to do, so I'm going to get to it. Okay, so I think it's going to be the final night before video production. Right now it's 20 past 11. I've had a lot of long days, to be honest with you, and I'm pretty beat up. It hasn't really just been the workload with this video, it's kind of been like just some of the things I've found, like today I really started honing in on the Followers of Christ Church and found out they had an infant mortality rate of 10 times what the rest of their state does, and it's just like, what the fuck is wrong with people, And it's been a weird video, like in a lot of ways. Like I'm really genuinely, I'm like really proud of it, but it's also like, I'm going after people, and it's like, is that a good way for me to kind of use my kind of, I don't know what you call it, following, influence? But I want to tell you is a story that happened a long time ago that I think has probably been kind of subconsciously coloring me with a lot of this stuff. And it was, Jesus Christ, nearly 20 years ago now. I was 15 years old, and there was a person in my family, and they got a disease called motor neuron disease. And if you guys aren't aware what that is, it's basically like the kind of slow death of your muscles. And it started in their legs and then worked its way up basically their entire body. And it was just like watching this, grown ass man just get weaker and weaker and weaker. And towards the end, when as far as I'm aware, like there was not a cure, and I don't think there still is, but towards the end, like, you know, the family really started getting desperate, and one of the things they did was they sent him away to a spiritual healer. And I think this guy was from Portugal. I don't know, it might have been Brazil. It was so long ago I can't remember. But when they came back, they had this videotape. And like, we all gathered around and we played it, and we're like, oh, holy shit, maybe this is the thing, like, you know, maybe this is gonna do it. And like, as a 15-year-old, I was fucking blown away. Like, I could not believe it. It's like, it was this, you know, spiritual healer, like this channeler guy. And I always remember like this one shot where like my uncle was like, look at this, watch what happens when he does this. And it's like, he kind of just looked normal, and then he kind of going like, and it really looked like, you know, something took him over. And he started performing all these like different procedures on people, you know, kind of like the psychic surgery stuff from the video. And he didn't do that to the person in my family. He did like a spiritual operation, but he said it was like just as effective. And so like, you know, they came home, and like, me and my cousins were like, this shit's over, like we did it, like we found a way. And 6 months later he was dead. And I'll never forget like just the sheer cruelty of that. And like, what's more, a lot of the spiritual procedures he did, it's like he did this thing to another one of my family members, not the person who was there for, but another one, where he got a scissors, and if you guys can hear a jet taking off, that's actually the render of this video. This isn't going to be the final render. I'm going to watch it tomorrow, see how I feel. And he got scissors, and he wrapped it in tissue, and he shoved it up someone's nose, a member of my family's nose. And it was so deep in, you'd think it would like skewer her brain. Like, it was crazy looking. I have seen that trick repeated so many times in these faith healing videos, and I don't think I actually have any clips of it in the video itself, because that might go a little far with terms of service, I'm not sure. But I went and I talked to my parents about this recently, and I was asking them about it and what their experience was. And my dad was saying like, it lifted his spirits a little bit, but when like, the moment my dad saw him, he knew like it hadn't done anything. And I was talking to my mom about it as well, and she told me a story about this nurse friend of hers, or I think it was a friend of her sister's, who had cancer. And she became really like into some other, like, I think this was like a Christian faith healer or something, like in Ireland. Like, I can't fucking believe that there's people like this where I live. But there's loads, like there's absolutely loads. And a nurse, like a medical professional, and she threw away her medicine. And then she just tried to, like, I don't know, whatever the fuck this person wanted her to do. She died, like, of course. And it's fucked up because, like, if someone like that can fall for this, like, anyone can, you know? And so I do feel like, you know, if I'm gonna do something, I do want to warn people how dangerous this shit is, because it is fucked up. Like, even if it doesn't get into medical stuff, I think it's really fucked up. I think fucking around with, you know, acting like you're talking to people's ghosts or families or spirits, like, that is, it's completely appalling in its own way. So I guess I do think that I need to do this, you know, but it's a weird one. Like I say, it's been like a weirdly emotional couple of days working on this. But it's nearly done now, and then I can go back to talking about fucking anime or whatever other shit. Yeah. I don't want to put any of this in the video because I don't I don't think it's really fair to my family if hundreds of thousands of people hear this story. You know, you guys will keep it to yourselves, I'm sure. But yeah, I guess it's something I kind of just needed to get off my chest a little bit. So yeah, thanks for listening. This was kind of weird and therapeutic in a way. Maybe I'll export tomorrow. Maybe I'll watch the final draft back tomorrow morning and be like, this is garbage, I need to push it back another week. But we'll see. I'll do one last update tomorrow. See you guys. Okay, here we are. It's the final day, and I am sitting in front of the near finished video, ready to hit upload, and I'm fucking terrified. I cannot tell you how just like rigid with tension and just exhaustion. Like, oh my god, like I look like a fucking mummy today. Jesus. But it's just, there's about like, you know, I don't know, 150, 200 hours worth of work in this video, and it's fucking scary, you know, to be just sending it out to so many people. And like, oh, like I think I've already talked about all the crazy shit in this video, and and like right now my mind is just abuzz with everything that could go wrong. Like, I don't know if people come to me for this kind of shit, you know. I don't know, do people want to hear me talk about psychics? I don't know. Like, I genuinely don't. And it's scary. Like, it's really, really scary. And the only thing left to do is just hit upload. And I just hate this bit every time. But it'll be okay, because I'll hit upload. And then the rest of my day is I might try run 10k, which I've never done before. I've only done like 7.5, 8k. And just like sweat all the tension that this is going to create out. Then I'm going to come home, going to get a bath, going to listen to Giant Bomb's premium podcast. I'm going to order some pizza and have a really soft evening, because that's what I need now. It's just fucking nuts. Like, I am so scared. But this is how it's gotta be, you know? So yeah. There's our thumbnail. And here's the button. Okay. I hope you guys like this. Oh fuck, well, here we go. Thanks guys.